Welcome to the preview of the Japanese Grand Prix. Yes, it's race week and we're heading to Japan, which is fresh off a 5-year contract extension, which was announced back in February, so we'll be racing there until 2029, which is absolutely fantastic news. It's a classic circuit in Formula 1. Been there, racing there for many years. It's produced some fantastic, brilliant racing over the years, 98, 99, 2000. You'll hear me banging about that because they were just brilliant prime racing, title showdowns we got there, and they were absolutely fantastic. A figure of 8 circuit, 53 laps, 5.8 kilometers, 18 turns, 1 DRS zone down into turn 1. It's medium downforce. It should be absolutely fantastic. The drivers love it here because it's one of them. It's a real driver challenge, especially from turn 3 up to turn 7, 8. You got a small bit wrong, you're out of sync and you ruin your lap, and it means you've got to be so precise, but once you get it right, it must be absolutely thrilling to climb up that hill through them center S's. It's a brilliant circuit. Weather forecast for this weekend, overcast on Friday, Saturday, but on race day it should be raining or potentially raining. 60% chance of rain there this weekend, so we could get the craziness that we saw a couple of years ago, didn't we, where it was just absolutely manic with the rain. Last time out though, it was Red Bull who wrapped up the Constructors' title. Max Verstappen won, but it was McLaren's who were an absolute charge that weekend. Second and third places for Norris and Piastri, but we had safety car, virtual safety car, Charles Leclerc putting a charge, got up to 4th place. We saw George Russell be the only one we go with the one-stop strategy, and he fell all the way back, didn't he? We had that bizarre scenario with Sergio Perez, didn't he? Retired for about 35 laps. He had a penalty, didn't serve that penalty at the time of retirement. Came out, served his penalty just so that he avoids the potential avoidance of getting that penalty, moving on to the next race. It was strange, wasn't it? But we got a brilliant battle between Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson won out that time out in his last race last season. Overall, it was a brilliant event. The tyre talk now, it's the hardest in the range for Pirelli. The C1 for the hard, the C2 medium, and the C3 the soft tyres. In terms of strategy, it looks like 2-stop is the way to go. I mean, 1-stop worked horribly wrong for George Russell last time out, didn't it? So I think most will go for that sort of start on the softs and hards, or a medium hard strategy. I think will probably be the way to go. The hard tire will be the one to be on for this weekend. For us folk here in the UK, it's an early start. FP1 3:30 a.m, FP2 7 a.m. Saturday the FP3 is 3:30. Qualifying starts at 7 a.m, and race on Sunday 6 a.m. start. So nice and early again for us folk here, but it's not too bad, is it? Not like we had in Australia. My predictions for this weekend for qualifying, I'm going to go for Max Verstappen to put it on pole. He'll be absolutely on the charge this weekend, won't he, after his disappointment last time out. Yeah, I think he's not going to have a point to prove as such, but I think he'll be raring to just go and grab that victory that he missed out on last time in Australia due to car troubles. I'm going for Carlos Sainz to finish P2 in qualifying, and Lando Norris in 3rd place. So that's my predictions for qualifying. For the race day, I'm going for a Max Verstappen win, Norris 2nd and Sainz 3rd. Yeah, let's see how it plays out this time round. I'm expecting a good weekend for Aston Martin and Alonso. I think he should go well here. Yuki Tsunoda also. He did actually quite well last time out, didn't he? Just missed out on Lawson, but he had a good race and he's got momentum this season, hasn't he? I'm predicting a bad weekend for Mercedes. I think they'll struggle here. They are having correlation issues again, aren't they? They can't seem to find what the issue is between finding what they see on their simulators and what they see on track. So a lot of work still to do for Mercedes. Now some news ahead of the weekend. Racing Bull are going to have the Super Formula racer Yumi Isawa. He'll be in Daniel Ricciardo's car for FP1. He did drive for Alpha Tauri last season, didn't he, at the end of season test. So it's not his first time in a car, but he's getting a second opportunity. So it'll be an all Japanese lineup for FP1 this weekend. In terms of the next one is big news of the Liberty media, the owners of Formula One, they've also agreed a deal to buy MotoGP for 4.2 billion. Sorry, it's a massive deal. They're going to get 86% stake in that, and MotoGP management retain the 14% there. So I'm not sure how MotoGP fans feel about that. Not really entirely F1 related, but the owners spreading their wings going further, aren't they? The other news, Adidas are to replace Tommy Hilfiger and Puma as Mercedes clothing partners. I think that's purely because Tommy and Puma are really attached to Lewis, aren't they? So whether they follow him to Ferrari next year, let's see. But Adidas are replacing them. In terms of the upgrades, there's a big upgrade coming for Racing Bulls. They've got a new floor coming here for Japan. They were the one team that were really consistent with their upgrades throughout last season, and they've started this one with a big one really early on, doesn't it? Just race 4 and a new floor for them. Red Bull also, they've got a cooling system layout, so expect some changes around the side pod area. Now, there was a lot of rumours to say that they were going to go for sort of the zero pods concept from Japan. So will we see that? I'm not sure it'll be quite that, because they've sort of strayed away from saying kind of that, haven't they? But it was big rumours at the start of the season to say, look, this was around the target Japan for that. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out. But it said it'll be radical and look clearly different to what we've seen. So interesting to see what Red Bull put on that one. I mean, if they can pull out even faster, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a shock to everyone else in the system, wasn't it? After that, Ferrari have got some small aero upgrades. I think that's in preparation for the big one that they've got upcoming in Imola. And that's really all there is to talk about in terms of upgrades. The big ones for the rest of the McLaren, Mercedes, all penciled in for Imola for some big upgrades there. Ferrari's big one is for Imola also, potentially, so the start of the European season. But I think Fred Vasseur has been eager to sort of speed up the process and get some parts in at least as early as they can, and it's probably a good idea just to test how they're going with that before the big one comes, and they'll sort of have some foundations of how it's working already, won't they? My predictions from last time out, well, it's a mixed one. Quali was horribly wrong, wasn't it? Got that. I had Charles Leclerc for pole, and then Max, and then Perez third, which is the only one I got right, actually. But in the race, I had Max Verstappen winning, Perez second, and Charles Leclerc third. And, well, it was nothing like a Red Bull 1-2. It was a Ferrari 1-2. I didn't expect Ferrari to be that good in Australia, let's be honest. But they were magnificent, weren't they? I think they got a helping hand with the Red Bull and of Max Verstappen, didn't they? And the issues potentially with Sergio Perez. I did get it right for Oscar Piastri to have a good race at his home race, and a P4 finish from him I think was fantastic. I did get it wrong that Williams would be good. They weren't that good there at all. It didn't help that they only raced one car. Alpine had a bad race. I got that right. Ocon was last, and Pierre Gasly finished a couple of races ahead of him. I mean, it was just that Gasly managed to beat the absolutely awful Sauber team, and let's hope they can get the fix for their wheel nut issue, isn't it? They went to make them really lightweight, got it horribly wrong. They just cross-thread them in the pit stops. I mean, they're having 30-second plus pit stops all season, aren't they? So it's a big one for them to fix ahead of this weekend, because otherwise it's just whatever you do, you're heading backwards, aren't you? But really, really looking forward to this weekend. Japan is a country that I wish I would be going to. It's on my bucket list, and the racing here is absolutely fantastic. Normally it's a brilliant circuit, 130R spoon curve like the S's. It's just all round, there's iconic corners everywhere. You know, we've had incidents down into turn 1, you know, Senna with that incident with Prost, wasn't it? And yeah, so much history there. It's a fantastic venue. Can't wait for the action to get going. And we're not far away. But that's it. That's the preview for the Japanese Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. I'll see you next time.